Iconic first episode with boring caveman story now legally banned. The Doctor puts everyone in danger out of pure curiosity. TARDIS-bound psychological thriller with a less than satisfying ending. Would be both considered an instant classic and racist if found. Varied but predictable fetch quest that's criminally underrated. A solid character piece with an interesting historical background and fascinating morals. Gaping plot holes aside, this one is kind of interesting. A real disservice to Susan's character and pretty shoddy animation. An interesting concept let down by the limitations of the 1960s. After running over baddies, we leave Susan in the apocalypse. Introduces Vicky, but is otherwise uninteresting. Emperor Nero probably did act like this, so not too bad. An incomprehensible slogfest that I understand if you want to skip. Stellar acting and a surprisingly sensitive take on forced marriages. You try remembering anything after the first episode's cliffhanger. Peter Purvis plays an annoying American and then Dracula appears? The Doctor, Vicky, Stephen and the monk prove they're capable of comedy. The beautiful women were the monsters all along. Shocker. A creative solution to needing to make a story without the Doctor or his companions. What starts as a historical comedy soon turns into a tragedy. We interrupt this Dalek story to bring you a message of Christmas joy. Stephen's hissy fit at the end was kinda justified, really. New companion Dodo proves herself by nearly killing everyone in this story. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, the rest of it we shall not show. You will be irritated by the constant singing. The sophisticated people were the monsters all along, we're shocked! Dodo leaves for absolutely no reason and technology is bad, I guess. Enjoying this serial best be done through the audiobook, me hearties. The Doctor regenerates for the first time. Also creepy Cybermen. Listen. Look, if we can't have the first story of the second Doctor intact, we definitely can't have the first Jamie McCrimmon story either. Basically the Web Planet, but underwater and with mermaids. So it turns out all you need to defeat the Cybermen is some nail polish remover and a coffee tray. Hey. Look, Polly, it's Jamie, and he's doing a dance, and there's Mr. Krabs. After forgetting who she is, Polly is told she has to spend the rest of her life looking after Ben. No, that's the last you'll see of the Daleks, promise. In all seriousness, this one is actually kind of cool and scary. I really hope this one gets found in full one day soon. The bloke from Last of the Summer Wine is now a scientist in the Antarctic. One of the most surprisingly good stories ever fully recovered. Ultimately, the quality of this story was overhyped, really. It is no wonder Victoria has a breakdown after this one. Other than introducing Zoe, this doesn't have a lot to offer. I have seen this one at least twice and I still don't know what happened in it. A really fascinating concept that I could honestly overanalyse for hours on end. My favourite Patrick Troughton story, sinister and gripping. The Doctor and Zoe boast about how smart they are, and that's it. The less memorable Ice Warriors story still has some humour. Another penultimate pirate story best listened to on audio. A fittingly appropriate finale for black and white Doctor Who. So many new additions and all of them done spectacularly. The Doctor tries to make peace, but the military always wins. What is the capital of Australia? How many beans make 5? And in the end, despite everything, they all just died. Every scene with Joe and the Master is pure gold. You see, this is where messing with people's heads gets you. Axos calling Earth, we're still waiting for a sequel. We leave Earth to find Gail Platt from Coronation Street. Really? Demons from the planet Deimos? Were the writers even trying at this point? If the Daleks really wanted to start World War III, they should have just got Donald Trump to be President of America. Cloceda pafmenin klachabla haron. Cloceda shanatinach haron. And it only took 43 years for them to make a spin-off series about this one. Well, the mutants look disgusting, but other than that, this story's kind of dull. Sorry, ignore what the Underwater Menace said. This is how Atlantis got destroyed. The second Doctor is now overly obnoxious about his recorder for some reason. This one is just kind of weird, to be honest. No, you're working for our enemies. No, you're working for our enemies. It's just people making the assumption that other people are dead willy-nilly. If the maggots don't freak you out, the speed of Joe Grant's engagement sure will. This is the first appearance of Sarah Jane Smith and the Sontarans. What do you mean the dinosaurs look beyond ridiculous? Any tension that you may have had that the Daleks might win is destroyed by the title of this story. Haron, 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 Haron. Had to face my fears. More important than us just going on living. Not fit, of course I'm fit, all systems go! I think this guy's hand turns into green bubble wrap at some point. See if you can spot the point where Tom Baker broke his collarbone. Do I have the right? Of course you do, don't be a namby-pamby wuss all your life. Okay, Harry is not nearly as useless as the Doctor is making out in this one. Because this was David Tennant's favourite story, we got Zygons in the 50th. I've seen this one, I've read the book, and it's still left no impactful memories whatsoever. The performances of Baker, Sladen and Wolfe are the main unique selling point here. The last appearance of Harry Sullivan and Sergeant John Benton. Could you spare a glass of water? Sacred fire, sacred flame. Okay, start talking. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart had perfect pitch. What happened to him? Who, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart? Oh, him. Oh, he died. I can never quite remember if it's pronounced Mandragora or Mandragora. Here's a fun fact. Croydon and Aberdeen are 550 miles away from each other. Here's another fun fact. This incarnation of the Master was in constant agony according to the Big Finish audios. Fun fact number 3. 7,581 viewers discovered they had a loincloth kink thanks to Leela. I just want to give a quick shout out to Chris Boucher's sequel for this story, which was Corpse Marker. It's a book and it's really good. How on earth did the BBC not notice that you can see Leela's breasts very clearly in one scene? I somehow don't think that looking at an explosion would permanently change your eye colour. This is the story where we get introduced to K9. Very creepy, but with not much story to back it up. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it, HMRC. So many poorly done cave shots. So many poorly done cave shots. Leela and Andred have about as much chemistry as my two buttocks. Romana looks lovely in this one, but what's the story? Tom Baker is impossibly outshined in terms of hamminess by the main villain. Of all the planets in all of the universe, of course one of the segments of the Key to Time ends up on Earth. Even Mary Tam looks confused as to what role she was playing at each point in this story. I'm surprised by how much buttock the Green Men were allowed to show. It's creepy to think Romana spent this entire story eyeing up Astra, going, "Yep, I'm having your body in a minute." This story messed up how regeneration worked more than Chris Chibnall and Russell T Davies combined. Pretty much everything about this story just sort of works somehow. Based on what this monster looks like, one has to assume the pit they mean is a perineum. Don't worry, you're not having a stroke. That accent is meant to be unrecognisably alien. What an unfortunately boring story to end the series on. No, the Doctor's mysterious, so he must wear question marks. What logic and reasoning do you need? Tom Baker is just a cactus now, deal with it. With all the best will in the world, why Adric? The Doctor has blue blood in this story, despite that not being the case before this story and not being the case after this story. Sorry, did I blink and miss the 1 second in this story where they explain what the hell is going on? Oh, stop being so obnoxiously wet. Oh, goody, the Master's come along to kill 'em all. Nyssa saying that he was the Doctor all the time doesn't actually explain anything. You made us, man of evil, but we are free. The events of this story somehow led to Tegan becoming an Aboriginal rights advocate. Well, of course it's happening in your head, Tegan, but who's to say it isn't real? And now you can add the Great Fire of London to the list of events the Doctor was indirectly responsible for. And if you have a family member who has been seriously injured or mentally scarred, please call us and we'll come and throw them off a building. Well, now I'll never know if I was right. A 4-episode advert for a type of plane that no longer exists. A 4-episode advert for a city with a very famous red light district. You know, for the kids. Hasn't Tegan suffered enough? And haven't we suffered enough listening to how Tegan complains about how she suffered enough? The whole exposed brain thing really actually makes me want to vomit. Nyssa would rather go and live on a leper colony than deal with the Doctor, Tegan and Turlough any longer. I'm still waiting for enlightenment on how this is an interesting story. The concept of Chameleon was really wasted on the 80s. He should have been a modern companion. Wow, 3 Doctors, a cameo and a deleted scene at least. You had my heart and soul rolling in the deep. So wake me up when it's all over. I guess Chameleon was just disguised as a hat stand when the TARDIS destroyed itself in this one. Just a reminder to everyone that you are realistically only one bad day away from a messy breakup. I saw a piece of vermin, and so I did what any other sensible person would do. I threw it in the fire.
You must
You're
survive.
needed.
You mustn't
Too
many
many
of your
Doctor.
enemies would delight in your death, Doctor.
If my coat is too loud, I'll simply strangle my companion. I know the blood was sort of the wrong colour, but Jesus, crushing a guy's hands to a pulp is just dark. Nabil Shaban seems convinced that every single bit of scenery is edible. The Rani is the ultimate true neutral. She cares about nothing but her experiments. This story is just pure why, because we can energy. Nope, sorry Terror of the Zygons, this is how the Loch Ness Monster was created actually. Yep, this mysterious planet is exactly the planet you're thinking it is. Brian Blessed either married or murdered Perry, depending on who you ask. Oh my god, the plants were evil, oh no. I don't really understand who Michael Jaston's character is meant to be. If this story knows what it's doing, can it hurry up and do it? Red Kangs, yellow Kangs, blue Kangs, pecs, cannibalistic old ladies. After watching this one with a woman from Bristol, she vowed never to watch Doctor Who again. Given how poorly written Mel's character is in general, how is her leaving scene one of the best written leaving scenes ever? At one point they seem to cut away from showing Doctor Who as being a programme on a TV within an episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, you try figuring that one out. Happiness will prevail if you switch this story off immediately. I don't even know anymore. Like, what? Let me entertain you. Angela Bruce, Jean Marsh, Nicholas Courtney, all good actors. If you can explain the plot of this episode to me in the comments section, I'll take you out for a coffee. I'm sorry, no matter what way you slice it, that was a really cruel thing to do to Ace, Doctor. He's back and it's about time. Action, adventure and scares. Do you want to come with me? Well then, run! We blew like 50% of our entire makeup and CGI budget for the series on this one episode alone. Yeah, so many questions. Excuse me, do you mind not farting while I'm saving the world? Rid the universe of your filth! Why don't you just die? Simon Pegg was initially cast as Pete Tyler, but scheduling meant he became a villain in the episode prior to that. I'm your dad. It's my job for it to be my fault. Are you my mummy? Please let me in, mummy. I'm scared of the bombs. Wow, this episode of First Dates is really sinister. Christopher, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Lady Cassandra goes from, in her words, a trampoline to a chav with a nice rear bumper. The Doctor and Rose spend 45 minutes inappropriately geeking over a werewolf and Queen Victoria. Really? With the big sad eyes and the robot dog, what else were you doing last night? Oh, I'm the Doctor, and I just snogged Madame de Pompadour. Ha! This is the one where they stopped taking the Mickey out of Mickey and just took Mickey out of the series. Television is evil, so why am I still watching this programme? Okay, you have to write side characters better than this or I'm not going to care. Probably the Doctor Who story with the highest account of disturbing implications. This one only gets rewatches due to a recent controversy. I don't think there's a single emotion I didn't feel watching this finale. Donna, don't try to pretend to be the better person by saying Lance didn't deserve his fate when we all know he did. Hospital on the moon with rhinos hunting a vampire. Any questions? Yeah, but the big problem is I'm not really that bothered. I still don't know why I like this one so much, but I do. Oh, Laszlo, I still love you even though you look like a pig. Do you know what? The CGI in this one looks pretty good for a 2005 PS2 game. David Tennant is inexplicably still wearing 3 layers in this episode. Can I just give props to Harry Lloyd, Rebecca Stanton, Gerald Horan and Lauren Wilson for managing to be creepy in 4 very distinctively different ways. An Oscar-worthy psychological horror short that happens to be a Doctor Who episode. I still love you, je ne sais pas pourquoi. Tennant and Tate prove themselves as natural comedy actors. This episode is only rewatchable for its future cast cameos. A Series 2 story was problematic, this is the response. The bit at the beginning where the woman's car goes into water against her will still creeps me out. Honestly, if they weren't going to make a sequel, they ought to have just killed her off. Historical inaccuracies aside, this episode was really fun. Donna Noble has left the library. Donna Noble has been saved. Roast beef, bananas, the Medusa Cascade. Be careful what job you pick, kids, or else you might destroy all of London. What? Binary. Christina was denied vital character growth by her not becoming a companion. The winner, that's who I am. Time Lord Victorious. He didn't want to go so much that he came back full-time. Prisoner Zero will vacate the human residence, or the human residence will be incinerated.
Nobody human has anything left to say to me today.
Given what the real Churchill did, I don't think he should be in Doctor Who. You see, you have to look at them, but you also can't look at them. What? The dramatic moments work, but not so much the humorous ones. By deliberately losing in both dreams, the Doctor wins in reality. This is why the human race can't have nice things. Everyone is horrible other than Vincent, Amy, Bill Nighy and the Doctor. To play a character this nice, calm and sensible, James Corden must be a good actor. Just kind of, yeah, sure, why not, that'll do. Catherine Jenkins's performance proves she really should just stick to singing. Aha! So it actually makes less sense in hindsight. Doctor Who with pirates should nae be this dull, laddie. Some really scary imagery, but Saran Jones and Neil Gaiman suck. I loved it, but the horror is not child-friendly. The Doctor has to ask himself some tough ethical questions. I don't know what this episode was going for. Please save me from the monsters! Please save me from the monsters! Please save me from the monsters! This one is proof that Karen Gillan is very underrated. Okay, but didn't we already do this plot point in The Curse of Fenric? Oh, we get to see James Corden's character again! Yes! Okay, this script just reads as bingle bongle dingle dangle, yickety doo, yickety da, ping pong, lippy tappy too da! There's like 4 really good guest stars in this, and they wasted them on this script. Okay, but why wasn't this version of Clara the companion? They clearly came up with the title first and tried to write a story around it. There are some really gripping ethical dilemmas acted pretty well here. The 11th Doctor tries living a normal life, Volume 3. Even as they're dying, the Doctor cares far more for Amy than he does Rory. Why couldn't we have this version of Clara as the companion? Why did we have this version of Clara as the companion? This show really needs to turn over a new leaf, or I will have to leaf it alone. I would feel truly honoured if you never did this again. It must have been love, but it's over now. A quite fun concept that I honestly expected more from. I cannot stress the word horror enough in the title of this episode. So many horrific images. Well, that was a waste of Jason Watkins and Warwick Davis. We learn a lot about the Doctor, but not his name! John Hurt nearly makes up for Christopher Eccleston not participating. Oh, honestly, just hurry up and regenerate, you're boring me now. Sorry, you do realise Colin Baker never explained why he looked like Commander Maxwell, right? You could make a really good video game out of this story. I am with the Doctor. I too would punch Robin Hood after this. Peter Capaldi hosts an unnerving TED Talk disguised as a Doctor Who story. Tell me why the Doctor does a bank heist. Any normal person would not let Peter Capaldi's Doctor work with children. I don't even like Clara, and even I think this episode was way too harsh on her. Frank Skinner nearly becomes a companion, and I don't know why. Some interesting and horrifying imagery not backed up by much story. Alright, fine, don't explain how any of this makes sense. Michelle Gomez is the most unpredictable incarnation of the Master. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. Considering he's based on Hitler, humanising Davros is not a good idea. Regrettably, this is not a sequel to The Waters of Mars. The Doctor's actions backfire into the darkest storyline ever. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Ironically, this episode can actually cure insomnia. Okay, great tape, Jenna, but next time can you act? Peter Capaldi's one-man play, Heaven Sent, will be touring near you very soon. And this is how the series ends, not with a bang, but with a Peter Capaldi and Alex Kingston have no chemistry whatsoever. Doctor Who meets superheroes should not be this forgettable. The new companion being one of the best ever does not distract from the glaring plot holes. See, this is where relying on artificial intelligence gets you. This is the one where the Doctor punches a guy in the face for being racist. Well, at least they didn't cut a reference to Harry Sullivan from the script. Oh, wait. Shocking ending twist aside, this episode has nothing going for it. We're close enough to Peter Capaldi's regeneration that I just wonder why they didn't leave him blind for the rest of his era and have him regain his sight as Jodie Whittaker. I do appreciate the Alpha Centauri cameo and the comments on bisexuality. Now then, what was the plot of this episode again? Mondasian Cybermen, two masters, and no, don't do that to Bill! The writing did the first Doctor very dirty here. Oh no! The companions are boring now! Oh yeah, and the Doctor's a woman, I guess. Don't build up to a new TARDIS design and then make a bad job of it. The Doctor and her companions are forced to enable racism. Wait, what? Having your Donald Trump allegory accused of sexual assault in the real world actually makes too much sense. See, the thing is, men can't get pregnant. I might have actually learnt something about history if this episode hadn't bored me to tears. Oh, it's the Kablam Man! The what? The Kablam Man! Oh, you're just making sounds now. It's a good job actors can play multiple roles in Doctor Who, otherwise this would have wasted Alan Cumming. Bradley Walsh decides to save his Oscar-worthy performance for the episode with the talking frog. I can barely remember how to pronounce the episode title, let alone anything about the plot. Daleks meet the girl from Ghosts, and nothing happens. Wow, you somehow wasted good actors, interesting historical figures, and my time simultaneously. Good job, Chris Chibnall. You delivered your climate change message so poorly that I actively want to burn the world now. Okay, listen, I'll take anything if it's even just half decent at this point. Somehow a lot happened and yet not a lot came of it. Strangely enough, strange things happened in a strange way and resolved strangely. You could have written that scene between the Doctor and Graham in literally any other way and it would have been better. And now we'd like to say screw you to all the Big Finish fans who enjoyed Mary Shelley as an 8th Doctor companion, because this episode contradicts that massively. No, this show used to be good, I swear. Let me just scroll back a bit. My 2% of investment is in the dog and John Bishop. That is not how Sontarans work. Mary Seacole was cool, though. I think things are just happening now for, no rhyme or reason whatsoever. That's not how Weeping Angels work. Stop changing how Weeping Angels work. This show is acting like I'm not even meant to know or care what's going on anymore. Okay, so it's the writers who don't even know or care what's going on anymore. Aisling B fighting Daleks while stuck in a time loop. I liked it. A story featuring both pirates and sea devils should not be this dull. Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, John Bishop, Sophie Aldred, Janet Fielding, David Bradley, Colin Baker, Peter Davis and Paul Okay, if it's going to be this good, they should adapt the comic books into episodes more often. Bernard Cribbin's cameo aside, this was disappointingly dull. A lot of it was unnecessary, but it was still quite fun. And if you have any further questions about Ruby Sunday, feel free to shut up. Awkward, nonsensical, and kind of disgusting. Why open the series like this? There's always a twist, there's always a twist, there's always a twist at the end. No, we don't have to explain the future companion. It's not important. This episode would probably be really good if it made a lick of sense. I actually really like the way that this episode tackles the issues that it does. Wait, so is Scream of the Shulker canon now? Well, that's just raised more questions than it's answered. Subtle storytelling? Nah, let's go as blunt as possible. Hey, Belinda's a cool character. Don't ruin her with a last-minute twist. Don't make me laugh. A worthy and unexpected sequel to the episode Midnight. This episode really overestimates my investment in Ruby Sunday. A wonderfully unique setting, portrayed with a beautifully unique story. Gee, I'm glad they didn't waste that cameo. You can't really tell there were reshoots. I mean, if your TV is off, that is.